Hello, Curios. Welcome to It's a Super Scary Saturday Sleepover. And for tonight's Norse folk tale that we're going to tell, we're going to follow a lady named Juliana. She's doing the right thing. She's going to church on Christmas. However, her alarm clock breaks, and when she wakes up to go to the service, she finds that the service is a little odd. And it's just not quite what she thought it would be for a Christmas church service. Well, welcome to the Curio Storyteller, guys, where we take stories from yesterday. We cosplay the characters, we get very creative with it. And then after we get done reading these stories, we discuss what we talked about and figure out if this pertains to us, if maybe we need to tell the character something, or maybe nothing happened and maybe we just want to laugh at the story. So, for tonight's tale, we're going to be reading from 30 Chilling Tales, Short and Shivery, and we are going to be reading The Midnight Mass of the Unalived. We're going to put Oreo Jr. back there where he's safe and sound. I think I threw him too far, but we'll worry about that later. But let's get started with our story. There was once a very devout widow who lived in a small village in Norway and went to church every day. Yes, girl. Girl, she needs to come to our Sunday Funday school. Come to our Sunday Funday school tomorrow, girl. Check it out. For many years, Juliana would go with her friend Berta to these services. When Berta unalived, she went alone. Aw, dang. R.I.P. to Berta. One Christmas Eve, she thought she would go to the early service on Christmas morning. Since there were fewer people at this Mass, she could sit near the altar. Feeling close to the Christ child on the holiest of days. Yes, girl, praise Jesus. Before she went to bed Christmas Eve, she put out coffee so she would have something warm to drink because she didn't want to go to church on an empty stomach. Don't people like coffee hot? If you put it out the night before, wouldn't it get cold? Girl, that's new. That's some new. Maybe she like iced coffee. Juliana's alarm failed to wake her, but she roused herself out of a deep slumber sometime Christmas morning. Moonlight was streaming through the bedroom floor when she got up, or onto the bedroom floor when she got up. She looked at her little alarm clock, but it had stopped with the hands frozen at 11:30. Okay. She did not know for sure what time it was, so she went over to the window and looked down the street to the church. Light was shining through all the windows, and opening her window for a moment, she was sure she could hear singing carried to her ears on the chill breeze. She hastily set the coffee boiling while she dressed. There go that coffee again. She downed a cup of strong black brew, then got out her long pink coat lined and trimmed with rabbit fur. Let me get our coat, y'all. We got to put our coat on. Come on, it's cold out there. It's Christmas. Y'all see my rabbit fur coat? Scott brought me this. It don't matter. It's cute. Okay, girl, we got our pink fur coat on. Hey. Lined and trimmed with rabbit fur, which she wore only on special occasions. Well, y'all don't see this much. This is my good fur. Tying a white scarf around her head, she gathered up her prayer book and set out for the church. Oddly enough, it was very quiet on the streets, and she did not see a soul on the way. Usually, Christmas morning brought many to even the earliest service, souls who might otherwise never go to worship during the year. That's like them people that show up to church only on Easter, too. They be doing that. When she entered the church, she found a pew very near the altar. But when she glanced around, it seemed to her that all the people looked pale and strange. Okay, girl, these. Maybe they don't get out, but on Christmas. Though she was not rude enough to stare at them. The woman on the right had deep circles around her eyes, as though she had just gotten over some terrible illness. The man on her left clutched the back of the pew in front of him with fingers so long and thin they hardly seemed to have any flesh on them at all. Maybe he taking Ozempic. It seemed to Juliana that there wasn't anyone kneeling around her she knew yet. She had the feeling she had met many of them before, though she could not say where or when. Hmm. 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 She settled back into the hard wooden pew along with the rest of the congregation. When the pastor left the altar and climbed half a dozen short steps up to the pulpit, he was not Pastor Salvador, nor any of the other city ministers she was familiar with. The visitor was a tall, pale man who preached quite well. Okay, good. Yeah, out of town pastor. Again, she had the nagging feeling that she knew him from somewhere long ago, but she could not place him. He spoke of unaliving and those who lay waiting the resurrection under the Christ's nose and who grew impatient with eternity. Juliana found his themes morbid. Yeah, girl, it is Christmas, sir. Aren't we supposed to be talking about Christ is born? So why are we talking about? Okay, it don't matter. Let me get back. And not at all the message of joy and hope she expected. The preacher rambled on, and she became restless, shifting uncomfortably in her pew. As she let her mind wander, she realized there was not the noise and coughing and throat clearing that she was used to hearing at earlier Mass. The silence was so absolute that when she nervously dropped her prayer book, girl, the sound became a boom out from the altar to the chorus loft. The preacher paused and stared at her with red rimmed eyes that had no trace of kindness in them at all. Juliana picked up her prayer book, but she was feeling so uneasy that her hands was trembling. She'd be like, "Oh, girl, praise Jesus." When the preacher finished his sermon, he led the congregation in a hymn. Okay, period. The music was strange, and the words were unfamiliar to Juliana. Y'all want to hear the words? Y'all want to hear what they sang?
Yes.
Let me get my microphone. Where my microphone go? Okay, period. Let's get it. Leaves have their time to fall, and the flowers wither at the north wind's breath, and the stars to set, but thou hast all seasons for thine own unaliving.
It's beautiful.
It definitely wasn't Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas, okay? It definitely wasn't a Jingle Bells, okay? But it was beautiful. She was so uncomfortable that she could not get any words out. She was aware of the woman to her right and the man on her left staring at her with the same intensity as the strange pastor. Suddenly, while the singing continued, a woman who was sitting behind Juliana leaned forward and whispered in her ear, "Take your coat over your shoulders and go quickly. If you're still here when the Mass is over, you're finished. This is a service held by the unalived." Let me tell you how quick I was like, "Girl, what? Girl, what? What you say?" Now, the widow was so frightened, she wasn't sure her legs would support her. Yeah, girl, you better make them support you. But she recognized the voice of the woman who had warned her and turned around. It was Berta, her friend who had unalived many years ago. In a flash, she realized that the pastor and the other members of the congregation that she had recognized were persons who had unalived in the parish over the years. I guess they need church service too. She shivered from terror, but Berta gave her shoulder a reassuring squeeze. So she pulled her coat loosely around her and got up to leave. Yeah, girl, you better get out there, sis. Get out of there, girl. Stand up, sis, and run. But just as she reached the aisle, the woman with the sunken eyes and the man with the bony fingers began to screech. Their ghostly figures turned in the pew and snatched at her. I didn't steal the offering. That's what I would have told them. I ain't steal the offering. What y'all grabbing at me for? My good fur. It's rabbit, by the way. Like a seed that's suddenly been churned by winds, the crowd of horrible, pale churchgoers rose in their pews and began clamoring towards the aisle. They yelled and moaned and scratched at her. Their hands like claws with dirt and mold underneath their cracked yellow fingernails. Ooh, Lord. Sobbing, no, no, no. Juliana pushed her way down the aisle. Just as she shoved her way through the doors and out onto the church steps, she felt the coat pulled away from her. Oh, girl, not your good fur, girl. Oh, girl, not the mold and the yellow finger, girl, on your good fur, child. Pulled from her shoulders by the creatures chasing her. Without giving it a second thought, she let them have the coat. I would too. And ran down the steps into the windy street beyond. Girl, I'm still sad about that coat. I'm still sad, y'all, about that coat. That was her good rabbit.
Yeah.
The moment she reached her own door, she heard a clock somewhere chime 1. She fumbled out her key, unlatched the door, and slammed it behind her. Half unalive with terror, she set about lighting every lamp and candle in her room. Y'all would have probably did the same. I would have. Would y'all have did the same? Because I would have. Then she sat on a couch, determined to keep watch through the small hours of the night, but exhausted as she was, she fell asleep. I wouldn't have. Would y'all have been able to fall asleep? Because I wouldn't have. I probably would have been on the phone with 911. Juliana awoke late in the morning. Most of the candles had burnt themselves out. Only a single lamp was still burning on the mantle. Through the gray light, she heard the church summoning the faithful to Christmas morning service. Had she dreamed it all? She wondered. But when she went to put on her favorite coat, she could not find it in the closet. Putting on an old black coat, she went out into the streets and was greeted by her neighbors who were hurrying to mass. Yes, she told herself, it had all been a nightmare. She had simply misplaced her coat. She would find it soon enough. She had to force herself to mount the steps and enter the back of the church. For all that it was crowded with friends and neighbors. But she turned and fled when the sexton came up to her saying, I think this is yours, isn't it? I've seen you wear it to church before. He held out to Julia her pink cloth coat with the rabbit lining and trim, but it had been torn into 1,000 pieces. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Girl, them coats is hard to come by, so I'm scared for her. Take a deep breath, y'all. Okay, now, y'all know how we end these things, but I'm going to switch up the question. I'm going to add an extra little curveball question. What do y'all think would have happened to her if they had got her instead of that coat. Period. But I'm gonna put this on hard level. This is gonna be a hard level. Only emojis. Put it in emojis in the comment section. What you just put what you think would have happened to her. Scott, what do you think would have happened to her if they had got her? But keep it like YouTube friendly.
Well, I'll just say she probably would have ended up like the coat did.
Oh my. They wanted her to join a service, period. Well, what lessons did you learn? What stood out, or what would you say to any of the characters? Y'all can put that down there. Y'all don't have to do emojis, but if you want the practice, do it in emojis.
I would say, I don't know what I'd say. I mean, once the church didn't feel right, you should have just got out of there.
I agree. That's kind of what point I was going to say. If something feels off, just leave. There was a time I accidentally went into the boys' bathroom. I saw all them urinals and I knew right then and there, something ain't right, child. I got to go. Boom. Do like that. Okay. Well, with that, we're going to bid you guys adieu. I launched Oreo Junior kind of far, so let me grab them up. I got to grab them up. Sorry, y'all. Okay. Got to bid you guys adieu. As always, guys, we enjoyed having you guys here, and we hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with us. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, check out some other videos, live, shorts, all that fun stuff. Just remember, guys, this is our channel. We come here, we hang out, we gag, we talk, we read books, we do smart people stuff because we so check out, make yourself at home. But with that, we're gonna leave you guys, but we'll be back. We gotta, keep up with our Dorian Gray. So we'll be back and give you 30 minutes or so. But we're gonna bid you guys adieu. So from wherever we are, even if we wake up like super early in the morning and then go to a church where it's a bunch of unalive people that are trying to rip our good rabbit coat to shreds, to wherever you guys are, peace and love and happiness, and we'll see you guys later. But that means 30 minutes because we're gonna get down with this Dorian Gray. But later, guys, bye.
Bye.